Toucan Play That Game is proudly sponsored by NiceGameShop.com, the place to go for rare and unusual Asian games. Hi, I'm Michael and welcome to Diaries of a Board Game YouTuber for Monday the 1st of May 2017. So let's start with our week in review, what we've done on the channel in the last week. There were 8 videos put up, so we had 7 for Zephyr Winds of Change. So this is steampunk aerial combat game. I did talk about this on last week's Diaries because I had the How to Play go up the week before, just gone. And so this week what we had go up was a 6-part playthrough, which was an awful lot of work, but I think it's come out really well. And, you know, the few errors that there are in there are annotated so that you will know the publisher's gone through it with fine-tooth comb, so there shouldn't be anything left. But, you know, errors do happen, but hopefully that will be good. And as well as that, there's also my review. If you want to find out a bit more, find out what I thought of the game, then you can take a look at that. The other video is a bit of an unusual video, really, and it featured Monopoly, of all things. You see, what this is Pork Farms are doing the UK National Board Game Championships, and that's running on the National Board Game Week, which is next week, so not this week, next week. And yeah, so they're going to have the semi-finals and finals, and they're also doing some stuff you can enter from home. And as part of that, they're getting games from Hasbro. So a game was sent to me, which was Monopoly, childhood favourite of mine. If you want to find out more on what I think of Monopoly, or how to kind of play along and potentially win some prizes in the board game championships, do take a look at that video. So then let's move on to what this has meant for the channel, so the figures. So we're talking just over 16 months now, and Facebook we're at 2,688 likes. So we're seeing growth, which is great. I'm just happy to see any growth at the moment. Things have slowed down a bit on the channel. I think I've done a few things to upset a few people. I've spoken about this before. And I'm glad to just see growth, see the channel continuing to grow, and I think as time goes on, improvements are being made, which you might have noticed this little doohickey here, and I'll talk more about that in a little while. So then Twitter, we have 9,969. We are back into growth on Twitter, so this is a huge, huge big deal. We had 2 weeks with negative figures, back into growth, really proud, really pleased to see that. It'll be interesting, because as you can see we've got 2 recordings going on here. Interesting to see the difference in background noise picked up between the 2 of them, so that might interest you. What I might do is, I don't know, I might like switch between them or something, we'll see. I'll talk about that more in a minute. Then YouTube, the channel, the big thing, what it's all about. And we've got, for the subs, 4,161, so nothing groundbreaking, nice bit of growth there. All in all, very happy to see this. Then with the views, we're at 204,395. So we aren't hitting the 5,000, but I've spoken, I feel that was too high for the time of year we're at, for the size of the channel, for where we're at as a channel. And I think, I can't remember really what I decided on, what level. I was regularly getting over 3,000, so I was thinking maybe set it to that, but if I'm just hitting that all the time, that seems a bit pointless to set as a target. So I thought maybe 4,000, you know, that's halfway between where I'm managing and where I'd liked, and what I had been managing, and then that means I'm kind of pushing towards the next target, if you will. If I'm already hitting 3,000, pushing to 4,000 and maybe falling a bit short, maybe hitting it. This week was a hitting it week because we had over 4,000 views this week, which is really good. Cause of that, kind of unknown. I don't think there's anything particularly going on in maybe International Tabletop Day, that may have had an effect, which of course has just been. It was just this weekend gone. I had a fantastic time. If you follow along on social media, you would have seen the pictures of all the games that I've played. Hopefully, you had a great time too. If you didn't, realistically, for me anyway, and I imagine a lot of people out there, it's just an excuse for another board game day. And if you're like me, you'll have other board game days, you'll have other chances to play games. It really doesn't matter. I hope you had a great day. If you didn't, realistically, it's just another Saturday. There's always the next one. So, yeah, we were talking about the views. As I say, very pleased. That was over 4,000, so I think that's a good level to be aiming at for this time of year, and I think that's what I'm going to kind of aim at through the summer. If we're regularly hitting that or regularly falling below, maybe I'll address it, but for the time being I think 4,000 is going to be the target, and we have beaten that this week. So then if we take a look at the analytics based off of all of this, well, for this week, last week I spoke about view duration and how that's typically been in the 5 minutes, and it was an interesting week because despite not being huge on the number of views, the view duration was a lot better. Now that has kind of slipped off a bit this week. We're down back under 6 minutes, but only just, so I still think that's a good healthy place to be in, but we're there with also having the increased number of views, so to my mind that's a win, and so hopefully you'll agree. So what's been causing this? Well, Yamatai Review, that's still top. So last week, Yamatai Review had the most. It wasn't hugely the most by a lot. And it's done even better this week. And is even more the most watched video. It's like 350 around that mark views, so really good going, really pleased to see that. Kind of surprised that the playthrough and how to play are not performing better at the moment, but I think maybe they'll be slow burners. As I've said before, the evergreens, the ones that keep getting searched and picked up on, are the how to plays and playthroughs, so I think that will probably carry on. I think the review will probably die down as people get hold of the game, have played the game, etc. Maybe as the hype, as it's a new release, so it gets hyped, and that causes people to look at reviews. So I think that'll die down somewhat too. What else we got on? I think that's it for the analytics. That's all I really had to talk about. The rest of the views just coming from those evergreens, really. Nothing particularly noteworthy there. So then, review. Now an exciting part for this week, new arrivals. We'll start with kind of the typical new arrival here. We have a board game arrived, which, kind of normal for the channel. This one is Galactic Warlords Battle for Dominion. Now, this is kind of exciting though, because it's by a designer I know, it's by an artist I know, and so yeah, I'm really intrigued to see. I think this could do well. I haven't really played it yet, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So that was one arrival, and it's not going to be a huge long wait for that. I think the Kickstarter for that's coming at the end of this month. So yeah, I think it's about the end of this month. I've got like 3-4 weeks to get the videos done, so I'm looking forward to that. But then the exciting arrival is what you can actually see me talking on here, which is this little device here. And this actually arrived on Tabletop Day. So this is an audio recorder. It is the Zoom H5 Handy Recorder audio recorder. Now, I bought this for a couple of reasons. Firstly, I wanted to find a solution that I felt would work well for convention audio. So after doing recording at Aircon, I was really displeased with my audio. I spoke to some other people who've done recordings at Aircon and were much better quality, and they seemed to think that the microphone was the thing. I was using the shotgun mic, which is what I've been recording most of this video with, and what probably will be what you've been listening to, or maybe it will have been this. I don't know till I come to look at the editing, see the difference. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that basically as soon as this box came out, that was this. So now I am not talking well, I'm going to make sure that I'm showing the audio from the boom mic now rather than this, because this isn't, if this doesn't point like that, it doesn't really pick up very well. It's designed that way. It has like a 90-degree angle thing, and I'm outside of that right now, so it won't be picking up very well. And the other reason I got this, so it was because of the whole I want to improve the audio. Then with the Kickstarter stretch goals, we fell short of the second camera, which meant we had excess money in the budget. So I felt a good use of that was to get an audio recorder, which is cheaper than getting a camera. Though I am still looking into the possibility of getting a cheaper second camera. But that's a possibility. I need to see how it's all going to work out with all the delivery costs from the Kickstarter, and if I can try and save some money in the budget elsewhere. But anyway, yeah, so those are the reasons. Now, I looked into audio recorders. I found there were two kind of major brands to go for. And at this point, I'm going to put this down. I'm going to start talking back into the H5. So yeah, there are two major brands. So we can now see side by side, we've just had that change. The Tascam and the Zoom. So that was the two major brands. So that narrowed it down a lot for me with regards to which I wanted. And then it was, okay, so between the Tascam and the Zoom, which do I feel has the better reviews? Which do I feel has the better product? And I spent a lot of time kind of looking and researching this, and primarily focusing on if I could get crowd-based recording, because part of the reason I've gone for this as a solution for crowd-based recording rather than lav mics, which is the optimal solution, is because lav mics are a pain. What I will probably do is have me lav mic'd up connected to the audio recorder or connected to the camera so that my voice is coming across clear, and then have the person I'm interviewing or talking to or who's doing the demo be able to do this, because I can just keep the connected up to me. It's not a problem. You know, trying to connect up lav mics to people can be cumbersome, it can be awkward, especially if they're the other side of a table. Whereas if I've got this, I just go, and so what do you have to tell me about your products? And that's the job. Yes, it's a bit awkward shoving a microphone in someone's face, but it's less awkward, I think, and less cumbersome than trying to clip a microphone to said person. Now, if you're doing pre-booked interviews, etc., I think it's much more an accepted practice that you will clip a microphone to them. But I don't like the idea of doing that. I mean, I want to go to this convention, I want to experience it pretty much the same way any of my viewers will experience this convention. I don't want to spend it sat in a little room or running from one interview to the next interview going, right, sorry, I've got to stop this game, I've got to run to the next interview, etc. Or not even actually playing games, because all I'm doing is interviewing people. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to do some of this stuff, and I'm going to be recording, ideally, games that I play, much like I did for Aircon. That's the kind of thing I want to do with regards to convention coverage. I don't want to just interview, I don't want to just have people talking. I want to show these games that you could have been playing at these conventions, and, you know, giving you the experience that I had at the convention. That's my aim. So yeah, that's kind of where I am. And then I did a lot of listening to recordings, as I say, as part of my research, and comparing quality. And without a doubt, Zoom beat over Tascam. That was my opinion, listening to like YouTube videos where they've gone, now I'm using this, now I'm using that, etc. So that for me was a definite go for a Zoom. It was then which Zoom, and yes, there is a newer, better version of a Zoom. There's the H6, and listening to recordings, it was better, but it was a lot more money and not considerably better quality, whereas this had the better quality than all the other versions and was only about £50 more. So it was very much, okay, I'll pay out the extra £50 to get that higher quality, and it was a noticeable quality difference, whereas between the H5 and the H6 there didn't seem to be that much quality difference. A big part of the differences there seemed to be with the number of connections. You see, this has 2 XLR connections there, and the H6 has 4. That seemed to be one of the big major differences. Otherwise, quality of recording, etc., there didn't seem to be much change. So I was much happier to go for this model. So you know, if you're looking at audio recorders, there you've got a bit of an insight into my process of getting one, why I've got one, and also then you're getting a bit of an example of the one I've got, how it's working compared to the other audio that you've been hearing. What is there else to say about that? You know, if you've got any questions about anything, not just this, anything on the channel, I'm very open about it all. Just let me know and do so in the comments below. It's what it's there for. So, that's enough of me rambling about new arrivals. What can you then expect this week? Well, Galaxy of Trian New Order is launching on Kickstarter tomorrow / today / yesterday. It all kind of depends when you're watching this, really, but it will be launching on Tuesday the 2nd. So with that, my preview video will be going up. One thing I will add is that if you are an early backer on this, you'll get some really cool metal credits that you can get otherwise, but they'll cost you money, and you get them for free if you're an early backer. So there's a definite financial reward, and also the early backers are not number based. So for my personal taste, that's a huge benefit, because so many of these campaigns, it's like the first 50 people, and everyone rushes to get there, and you're never one of the early backers, really. So this is time-based, and it's also quite a long time. It's 72 hours, so it's not one of these if you back in the first day even. So that's really good. It means there's a good chance that people will be an early backer. So yeah, there's that. I'm also hoping to get reviews up for Arctic Scavengers. I've been working on those for a while. I've got them ready. I just need to get them uploaded. So, you know, pretty much definitely those will be up this week now. The other thing I want to get done is Helden Tau Fei. Helden Tau Fei is a kind of adventure game. I've played quite a few games of this now. I enjoy it, and so I'm looking to get the reviews done for that, but I still need to record those and get those done and worked out. But I'm hoping I will manage to get them up this week. So that's everything from me for today's Diaries video. I just hope you've enjoyed it and found it useful. If you have, you know what to do, and as always, thanks for watching, and bye for now.